This is U.S. Station 31. You read me? Found something in the ice. We need some help down here. Can anybody hear me?
At first I didn't want to remake the thing because of my fondness for the original film, which I saw as a kid, and it scared the hell out of me. Universal had the rights to remake it. And so they approached me, and could we remake the thing in a different kind of way? I guess they had tried several versions, and I came up with the idea of going back to the original novella, Who Goes There, by John W. Campbell, Don Stewart. And Hawks's movie, the 1951 The Thing from Another World, had departed a great deal from that. Had gotten rid of the imitative idea, had gotten rid of a lot of that kind of material. So I decided to return to those roots and basically reinvent the whole film.
Where no one can see it, or hear it, or feel it.
I was excoriated for the thing for a lot of different reasons, but I think the biggest reason was that I showed it. You know, there's an unwritten law in Hollywood that what you don't ever do is you don't show the devil or the monster. You have to keep it in the shadows, because that's the tasteful way. I think that comes from a really kind of cliched 1940s movie called The Bad and the Beautiful. Kirk Douglas is this producer, and he's looking at these terrible cat costumes, and he says, well, we'll keep them in the shadows, and that's the elegant way, the old-fashioned way. In the thing, we decided to bring it right out in the light and show it to you. Maybe it was a mistake, but I think it was certainly the vision that I wanted to create.
12 men have just discovered something. For 100,000 years, it was buried in the snow and ice. Now it has found a place to live, inside.
We basically had 3 sections of shooting. There was a pre-production unit. We went up to the Juneau ice fields. These are vast ice fields above Juneau, Alaska. And we spent 2 weeks shooting this little base. Big old crew. Well, it was grim up there. It was grim. We shot helicopter shots, vista shots, etc., with stand-ins. And then we spent several weeks shooting on sound stages, refrigerated sound stages, and this heat wave in Los Angeles. So it'd be 104 outside and 30 some odd degrees, 40 degrees inside. So we all got cold. Then we made the trek to Stewart, British Columbia, which is a little border town. And nobody claims that the last time they had a police department there, the town burned it down and ran off the cops. So it's lawless. It's like the old frontier. And these Hollywood crew and actors come stumbling in there. We shot up on top of a glacier, and oh, it was grim. It was grim. We had to travel up every day by helicopter. The stories of survival on that shoot are pretty amazing.
I know I'm human. Some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open. If it takes us over, then it has no more enemies. Nobody left to kill it. And then it's won.
I met Kurt in 1978. We were doing a TV movie about Elvis. He played the leading part. And it was the way he approached roles, the way he saw acting, the way he saw movies. He was trained in the old Disney studio where you'd cut the camera if they didn't say their lines exactly right. The script supervisor would. It was an old studio training, so he was absolutely the consummate professional. And that just appealed to me. And plus the fact he's a brilliant actor. Highly underrated, brilliant actor. Well, the head ripping off the body scene, turning upside down into the spider creature, then running out the door it's funny and yet sick at the same time. I hadn't seen that before in a film. That was kind of groundbreaking. How can it be both awful and why am I laughing so hard?
You guys gonna listen to Gary? He can be one of those things!
I don't know that I have gigantic fond memories of that movie. That was one of the toughest films ever to make. That was very difficult. And it was hard to, at one point in the film, it was hard to embrace the darkness of it. And my editor had to tell me one day, you gotta embrace the darkness, John. You gotta That's what this movie is. That's your job. You have to. So I did. It wasn't a pleasant trip down there, but there's a little room, I think, in everybody's mind and in the view of the world and the universe that sometimes you don't want to spend too much time in. I had to spend a good year and a half in there.